What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to Streamcast, a show on the internet. We watch the latest and greatest streaming stuff on streaming services with you guys. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my bro, the Hydra Stan himself, Sheps. How's it going, bro?
It's going good. I think vindicated proof he's clearly an agent, right?
Clearly. I think I saw one moment there was some scars on him,
Yeah.
and I think I saw a bit of red skull underneath there.
Why do you think the neck thing's so high up?
Chest
Guys,
tap.
That's
That's
just
it.
a freaking octopus or whatever.
It just has the, what is it, Johann Schmidt? Is that his name? Or is that the Red Skull guy from...
Person. I don't know.
I think from Captain America, the First Avenger, I think that was the guy's name. It's just him on his chest. That's what it is right there. Joined today by none other than the
guys.
Captain America stand himself. The one that he says he's going to be here every week, and then suddenly he's like, nah, you know what?
He's like, I'll be here for every show. Every show I can make just skips for.
I've got better things to do. The Four Pillars Network isn't something I care about. So I'm going to go sit in a chair and talk on something called the TylerTynamite show every week. TylerTynamite. How you doing, bro?
Funny? We made podcasts and he decided, I need a podcast. What a great original idea.
He saw us. And he followed our footsteps.
He followed our lead.
That's
just
it,
like
that's
everybody moving to Twitch.
Exactly. How you doing, Tyler?
It's true. I'm doing well. Happy to be here at 5 in the morning. Well, here's the thing. Daylight savings time changed. I was recording at 6 in the morning with you boys.
Yes.
That was like the normal time because you refused to move your time or do any other day that works. So this is what I have to do, get up at 6 a.m. But then you're like, it's now 5 a.m. I'm like, holy fuck. And then, some things come up and it gets harder. It gets harder with the other jobs, recordings, other things. But I'm like, fuck it. It's 5 in the morning. I'm here. But also last week or the week before, was it like you fucks like had to change the time anyway that didn't suit me at all?
We had a glimmer of hope. I was like, daylight savings times, it's moved 1 hour. Does that mean that Tyler can sleep an extra hour and it's like a 7 a.m.? And I'm like, Tyler, is this going to work out better for you? And he's like, nah, it's the other way around. I'm like, shit. Fuck. Well, all right,
it's fine.
This is worse for you. Okay, well, you're just going to have to suck it, okay?
Right, just deal with it.
And that's all right. Here we are. I'm sucking it, and I'm fine with that.
We're happy that you are going to be sucking it for us. Thank you very much.
I'm happy to suck it. Yeah, with both hands. With both hands.
Talking of sucking things.
Just both of you.
As fun as it is to just destroy Waynes, who has no content or just, I don't even know what he's about. But I was going to say congratulations, but the fact is, gaming world records only count for gaming.
Right.
And Assassin's crud it's not gaming.
It's like a mobile game. I mean, why would you celebrate mobile gaming?
Imagine you had the record in Candy Crush.
Oh, could you? Everyone.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, great. Right.
Yeah,
I mean, more people play Candy Crush in fairness. More impressive.
It's true. That would be more impressive than Assassin's Creed. That would be, actually. It's heard from one of the four pillars right here.
Yeah.
I fucking hate Assassin's Creed, so whatever. Like, I don't give a fuck.
I congratulated him on Twitter. I don't know if you guys saw. I was like, congratulations, James. It's an actual big achievement and whatnot. Everyone congratulate the #1 Assassin's Creed YouTuber out there, because this now cements that, in fact. All the times that he's tried to say,
liar.
I'm not an Assassin's Creed YouTuber. I did Ghost of Tsushima videos this year or Batman videos this year.
So full of shit.
And
his
now
eyes are brown.
His crowning achievement is that. Anyway, we're here to talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 4. We are. We are here to review that with you guys.
What
a
fucking amazing episode!
So
I just want to say how fucking good this episode was.
Give impressions off of the top. Tyler, do you want to take it away for us?
Oh my god, I was just like enthralled from the start. I mean, we're just in the heat of it now with Sam and Buck, who just have such a great dynamic.
So good.
Zemo, he's just murdering this show. Like he's like just killing it. Like every scene he's in, amazing.
You think
he's the best MCU villain?
I would say.
Yeah, 100%. Totally agree.
Yeah, and then you've got. The opening, we'll get in the scene by scene, but Bucky had a cool moment in it early on.
Yeah.
Even establishing, the flag smashes a bit more and the different characters in there. That had some good depth to it this episode. Obviously, John Walker's character as Captain America, that performance, amazing performance.
So
I fucking hate this character.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable and being done so well in that development. But to me, the standout was Sam. This was the most Steve Rogers we've seen Sam ever.
Yeah.
His talk with Carly.
And it's come at the perfect time. It didn't come, talking to Carl, like, it didn't come too soon in the show where you're like, oh, they're just really pushing him. Where's the development? He's really struggled with it. And even now, he hasn't just dived in. He's just showing why he was chosen right now. And it's now, there's just so, the juxtaposition of, you've got this new Captain America and John Walker. Okay, he's going this way. He's going the opposite way he's supposed to be going, and Sam's going the exact way Captain America should be going, more into that of why he should be Captain America without actually wanting the shield or needing the shield or a serum. Like, that's who Sam is, and that's why he was chosen. So, and Anthony Mackie, the actor, nailed it. Fucking nailed it. He was the standout to me of the episode. John Walker being the second standout in terms of performances and characters, but Sam he was the star of this episode. And obviously, he's the star of the show, but it was just so good to see. His Carly scene was fucking awesome.
Absolutely brilliant. And everybody's performances have been just pretty incredible, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the cinematography in this episode, while it's all looked good, there's very specific shots used, in particular with John Walker's character.
Yeah.
Freaking brilliant. We'll get to that. But I've actually been converted.
Yeah.
Diogo said something.
Oh, Diogo said something. Go ahead.
He said something that vibed with me, and I wanted to bring it up because actually in this episode, there are some very humanizing moments for John Walker.
Right.
Diogo said, I'm surprised that they painted John Walker as a good guy, just trying to do the right thing. So it's hard not to cheer for him, even if he is in over his head. And I totally agree with you. That perfectly summarizes my feelings on John Walker.
Perfectly, yeah. I think the whole internet, in fact, were all saying the same thing.
Right.
Thank you, Diogo, for that. Thank you, Diogo, for all of those. Those sorts of
I'm not biting on this shit. I'm not gonna bite on this shit. I'm not fucking. I was almost like, you almost had me.
She was like, hold on. Wait, it's Sheps and Ed. I know this.
I was like, I know you. I know you fucking cunts.
There was also a tweet that James quote tweeted as well yesterday. Some random person responded to somebody else saying that Captain America was always supposed to be a character that can cross borders and do all kinds of things, like out of control of the government, and that makes him a bad guy like John Walker. And then he goes also that Bucky and Sam are also out of control, crossing borders, ignoring justice systems and their vigilantes. At least John Walker operates, or at least operated, within a chain of command, as if that made him a good guy.
Hold on a minute.
It's not about how you're doing it. It's about what you're doing. So yeah, all of them are acting fucking without borders. They're the fucking Avengers anyway. But like, it's about what you're doing. What are you doing? Sam and Bucky are fucking good. What are you talking about? That's the dumbest shit I've ever fucking heard.
That was the dumbest thing I've ever read in my life.
He made 4 different points, never finished one, and none of them connect.
Yeah.
That's the weirdest freaking thing I've ever heard.
I think what he was trying to say was
the point.
What he was trying to say was that Bucky and Sam are just like Captain America in that they're vigilantes, just going across any border and dispensing the justice that they feel
they're
is
like
true.
John Walker. They're like John Walker.
Exactly. But John Walker follows the chain of command, like, the government have got to give him orders.
So
and I'm like,
the good guys now, right?
That's not what makes a hero a hero. That's what makes a good guy following orders. Yeah. It's doing the right thing, i.e. Steve Rogers, i.e. Sam and Bucky.
Right.
You moron.
Just completely misunderstand everything.
It was so bad. Anyway, I had to read that.
How
I was
did you feel
fucking
about this episode?
I would never say. I'd never say. I would say I've never liked Sam and Bucky more than I do now. Like, they were already my fucking boys. After Steve's gone, I'm like, these are my 2 favorite characters. But I just love them even more now. Seeing Sam go into the Steve Rogers role, but really spending so much time with Bucky and human Bucky since the first Cap has been so refreshing too. Yeah. Like, rather than Winter Soldier Bucky. It's just so awesome seeing that. So I just love them.
Cool. It is really cool.
I have to give a confession.
Yeah.
I liked the episodes up until now. Yeah. However, I wasn't fully on board. I was like, this is MCU, and this is like in the Captain America sort of style and stuff like that. But I wasn't in it. Like, I was in from the get-go from WandaVision, but that's just maybe my taste. And I'm in from the get-go from a lot of other MCU movies. But this one, I was like, okay, I can see this is great. but it's not blowing my skirt up at the moment. This episode
Yeah.
really did something for me, and I was like, okay, we getting into high gear now, and now
I think
I'm
it's
really
because
on it. I'm really on it.
the thing of the slow burn. It's like episode 1 and 2 was like Act 1. Episode 2 and 3 Act 2. We're now heading into Act 3 now for episode 5 and 6. Like it's sort of split up into a. It's really done like an extended movie, which has its benefits but also has its faults, no doubt about it. And I felt like episode 1 to me was fucking like the first half was perfect, like the way it introduced our characters, but then it slowed down in the second half. And then the second episode was sort of what you wanted to see sort of happen at the end of the first episode with Sam and Bucky actually getting together. So the first act was being split up into 2 weeks felt a bit like disjointed because it is sort of structured like a movie. So then by the time you get into Act 2 and you're sort of, by the time you want something to happen in episode 3, I think if you were to look back and watch them all, the episodes individually, again, back to back to back, once they're all out, I think you'll probably enjoy it a bit more because you don't have to wait week to week. Like I felt about WandaVision, the first 4 episodes, I'm like, like this show's almost not meant to be week to week, even
Also
though I'm
because
enjoying
it's
week
so
to
short
week.
as well.
Bi-weekly. No,
By the time you even, by the time you even get hard, it's like, and then it's done. Okay, well that's as good as it is.
Yeah, whereas now we're in the meat of it, so you're really getting the payoff to what's being set up. Like you wouldn't enjoy episode 4 as much if it wasn't for the first 3 episodes.
Completely
but I get
agree.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
I was down for WandaVision and I was all about this show, but I was vocal about being worried about this one because the thing they had to nail was Bucky and Sam's dynamic.
Yeah.
And I think me and Tyler agree that like Winter Soldier's pretty much one of the best MCU, if not best movies. I like the like grounded sort of Steve's
it's
super.
my favorite superhero movie of all time.
Yeah, if you shoot Steve, he gets shot, right? Like he's super, but he's like still human, you know?
Yeah.
And the thing about it is you need to make Sam and Bucky compelling and have to give them a good reason to be together and grow together and all this stuff. And that was the thing I wasn't sure that they would do. Like you say, it was like 1 and 2 was like kind of getting into it. Like, how does it work? But I'm so all about it. It's so good.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm guessing then your feelings on this episode is pretty decent.
Pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie. Spoiler alert. It's pretty decent.
Before we get too far into it, this show, Streamcast, along with our content on our shows and over on Twitch, twitch.tv/conversations, is powered by. That's not our thing. That's
not our thing.
Tyler.
Fuck them.
Yeah, fuck those guys. Is brought to you by the Incredible Superheroes over on patreon.com/conversations, and I guess our Twitch subs. We're gonna go with the Sugar Daddies.
Yeah.
We love you, Daddy. Over on everywhere, you know the places. Linked in the description. Who do we have to thank?
We have Diogo Dildo, Isak the Ultimate Cumsock, Carol to Rivia, aka Casper the Friendly Patron, Record Friction, Dan the Man, Jeremy Renner, that's right, an official Avenger, Martin Scorsese's Master H. Barts 12, the Midget Aloy from Smallville Sabine, the former freeloader Christian, Master Chief himself, Albie Scory, Super Sus Ben Fryer, who is a clone of Eddie, the Star Wars Encyclopedia, Adam Sunling, Raj Vanderlyn, he's got a plan, guys. You just got to follow him on one last job. And the filthy thief fanatic, Joe McCormack. Thank you guys so much for keeping the lights and mics on and the streaming services going here. Conversations right here.
With
Streamcast and Conversations. Yeah, you know
forget
the Four Pillars Network. It's all about conversations.
With our flagship show over here. So we're going to do something a little bit different. You're going to lay out the scenes. We're going to talk about them and try and like maybe not go off on tangents. Apparently that's the thing.
I'm okay with the tangents once we set out the scene. I feel like sometimes we go a little bit like break too much of what. So I'm going to try something out and see how it goes. Bear with us, guys. It's a work in progress.
So it's 6 years ago in Wakanda.
It's like, let me just start in ancient Greece. Okay, episode 4, The Whole World is Watching. That's what this episode is called right here.
Yeah.
It opens up with us in Wakanda. And we see it's 6 years ago, and the Wakandans have been working with Bucky to try and release the Hydra hold that they've got over his mind. And they're preparing for something around a fire, and then all you start hearing is one of the women starting to say those terrible words that triggers him and turns him into the Winter Soldier.
Well, and Bucky saying like it's not gonna work.
Yeah, he's really, and you could tell the guy's scared. And all while he's saying it, I can't say the words unfortunately, but like 17, rusted, all this stuff that he's saying and whatnot. Every moment, every word looks like almost there's a punch to him. There's like this like weight where he feels like, oh shit, like he's fighting. And then by the end of it, he's in tears. The guy's like, like he's a wave of emotions have just come over him, and it's suddenly just broken him down, and he's realized that he's free from it. And she even says, "You're free." And that's an amazing moment, amazing starting point to the episode.
The performance from Sebastian Stan.
Absolutely.
Woo!
So good.
So great.
He doesn't even need to use dialogue. He didn't need to say anything. It was just like I was like, oh, holy fuck, this is tense.
I like Sebastian Stan. Like I'm a fan.
Are you a Sebastian Stan?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Yeah.
But I didn't know he could act like that.
Yeah.
Like I knew he was decent, but you're playing like badass half robo assassin, right? Like be in shape, shoot the gun, don't say too much. You're like 90%.
Look angry.
Yeah, look angry. You're 90% there.
Yeah.
This scene blew me away.
Yeah,
absolutely
it was
blew
fucking
me away.
great.
And what blows me away is it's not even the best scene in this episode.
Oh no.
No, it isn't.
That's crazy to me because this like I was blown away. I was like, well, that's the best scene in the whole show.
Yeah.
That's it. There it was.
Yeah.
And not even in the episode.
Yeah.
And it's an incredible scene. It's so well done. She's the chick that he met in the street in the last episode.
In the previous episode,
Yeah.
right at the end there. I was gonna say the reason why I fell in love with Bucky was I liked him on a cool level because he was a cool character, and I saw the behind the scenes video of him and Steve fighting in the street in Winter Soldier, and he does they do this bit where they're like punching each other and blocking, and then he flips a knife real time in real life, no CG, and then he goes to stab him. I was like, this guy's it. I'm sorry, he's cool from now on. He's my guy. And then he does this as well, and I'm like, shit, you can act as well. This is fucking fantastic. Anyway, we then cut back to current day, and Bucky's talking to that Wakandan woman, and he's saying to her, like, I need Zemo. He even speaks Wakandan at one point as well, which is really, really cool.
Years.
Yeah, it's really cool, I think. And she goes, all right, I'm going to give you 8 hours to get everything in order. And then after that, I'm coming for him. Yeah. Simple as. And she leaves, and then they go back to each other. What did you guys think, by the way, of the addition of like Wakanda in this now as well?
Brilliant. Great.
It was cool, right?
So good.
It was something I didn't expect, and I was like, all right, okay, let's get this on.
Exactly, I agree. It just shows where the MCU's reach is and how it extends, and you're keeping the universe consistent.
Yep.
That when you do these solo stories, you don't forget the fact that there is an expanded universe, because where it's like it makes sense that Wakanda, shows up, and they're after Zemo. Of course they would be. It would actually make you'd be sitting there thinking, oh, well, I was sitting here thinking like, man, imagine if they hadn't shown up. I'd maybe not have thought about it for a while, but I would have down the road. You go, yeah, man, wouldn't it make sense like in real life if like this was really to happen, that the other people Zemo fucked around with would come back into it and
he killed their king.
Exactly.
Fucking king. And then the guy they helped, who was the next closest person in Wakanda to T'Challa in terms of like physical prowess and all this stuff, busts that guy out of prison.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna want answers.
Yeah, we need to have a discussion.
Also, and I feel like this show is doing it quite well. Is they're trying to get away from the America World Police thing, and they're trying, like, that German guy mentions it to John Walker. He's like, you guys are overstepping. Like, aliens don't come and just attack America, right? Yeah. Like, there is a whole world here with like independent countries, and like Wakanda's a major player. Like, it's been behind the scenes, it's kept itself like stealthed, but they're a major player. They're actually here. Like, they would be. Of course,
I like it as well. The way pulling away from just America is everything, and the solution to every problem and whatnot. I like it. Then we cut to the guys. They all meet up in their apartment building where they're all hanging out for a moment, and they get word of the GRC bombing. And they look on their phones like, okay, there was 11 people injured, 3 people dead, and this is all the result of Carly's doing. Saying that maybe they need to come up with a plan to try and catch her. And they go, I think Sam says, in my culture that we have like a period of mourning for the people that we lose. She lost her mother figure, we think, is something like that. So there's going to be some form of funeral. Maybe we can try and find out where that is and then approach her there.
I feel like you skip past one thing.
Go ahead.
There's some important lines in that scene.
At the beginning of this, it's Sam and Zemo says along the lines of like, the super soldier serum corrupts everyone. There's never.
I can read it to you if you want.
Yes, please do.
He goes, it's. So what Zemo says is, well, it's an important line because, Sam goes, she's just a kid. when he was talking about that she's getting worse. He's like, she's just a kid. And that's a Steve line when he's talking about Wanda Maximoff in Civil War to Tony. He's like, she's just a kid. Like, it's just another mirroring Steve line. But Zim pretty much says, you're seeing something that isn't there. You're clouded by it. She's a supremacist.
Yes.
The very concept of a super soldier will always trouble people. It's that warped aspiration that led to Nazis, to Ultron, to the Avengers. And then he goes on to say, he goes, you're talking about our friends. And he goes, the Avengers, not the Nazis. Bucky jumps in, the Avengers, not Nazis. So Carly is radicalized, but there has to be a peaceful way to stop her, is what Sam said. The desire, and Zimmer goes, the desire to become a superhuman cannot be separated from supremacist ideals. And that anyone with that serum is inherently on that path.
Right.
She will not stop. She will accelerate until you kill her.
Until you're forced to kill her.
Escalate. She'll escalate, not accelerate. Or she kills you. And then Bucky talks about the serum never corrupted Steve. And he goes, touche. But there's never been another Steve Rogers, has there?
True.
Like, that's the important lines from that scene is like...
But
it's also mirroring the point of Zemo is wrong, because Sam is the other Steve Rogers. But no one's accepting that yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's. I do like Zemo's dedication to this, though. It does make him like the compelling villain that we all think he is. He sees it as one goal, one objective, a bit like Thanos, where it's like, I will snap the entire half the universe, and that will solve everything. That is what I believe, and that's the same with Zemo. He's like, everyone is a supremacist who has this drug in them. I will not waver from that. I believe this wholeheartedly, and I will do everything I can to solve that problem.
It's good foreshadowing. You know, he says like anyone that sought out the serum is going to be corrupted, and then it happens later on.
Yeah. Spoiler.
I like Zemo as, I think he's our best villain. He may not be like the biggest villain, but I think he's the best villain in the MCU.
He is as well.
Also because like Thanos' thing, it's just too extreme. Right? Like, I get his reasoning, but you're talking about literally half the universe.
Yeah.
Zemo's
and it's good for scale for those big movies.
Yeah.
Right. Zemo's thing, I'm like, I don't agree, but it would be really hard to argue against that point. Like, you make...
It's definitely worth a debate. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You'd be like, put him on a TV show, have him talk to some people. You know what I mean? Have the debate. Like, he'd be a good politician.
Show, Zemo.
Yeah, but exactly right. Like, he'd be a good fucking politician. But it's also clear why his family, because he's a smart person, and why his family's so wealthy. And we find out in that third episode is Zemo is such a compelling villain for his motivations, but he's also now you find out his real backstory and why he feels the way he feels, and you spend that time with him to really explain and expand on his reasonings, and you're actually sitting there like, dude, you're like, he's just so compelling. His performances are so good. He's just, I was excited that Zemo was coming back because I thought he was an amazing villain in Civil War. I mean, I think that Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Civil War have the two best villains, like in the MCU besides Thanos, which is the Winter Soldier and now Zemo.
I was
but
say,
Zemo's just
not that great in MCU.
blown me away in this show. He really has blown me away with what they're doing with his character and how much time we spend with, and even his development, because he's seeing another side of it too. He's seeing Sam and Bucky. He's sort of being converted to me to not think they're all bad. And he knows Steve Rogers isn't bad, like they all do.
Yeah, it's very interesting that like they're very much like black and white, and then as they spend time together, like they're graying. Yeah, like they're still like Zemo's still very dark gray, and they're very light gray, but they're gray, not black and white, which is very interesting. And I do want to quickly say on Zemo that dropping him in with these two, I was a little bit concerned, because although I love him as a villain, I'm like, these two have and are gonna have such an incredible chemistry after we saw that like couples therapy thing. I'm like, they've got it. He's fit so well. Like, this isn't like a third wheel. They just turned it into a tricycle. Like it
they really
fine.
did.
It's incredible.
Yeah, 100%.
We then cut to the flag smashers. It's a very quiet scene. All it is really all the flag smashers around like a fire talking to each other, and then they're looking at their phones as well, and they're seeing the same report that Bucky and Sam were seeing the amount of people that were injured, and there's some awkward looks. There's some awkward looks all around the campfire, and they look at Carly as well. Carly just gets up and walks away, and it's very tense at that moment. We cut back to the gang, and they're looking for Carly's mother / someone that she knows, someone that took care of her, mother figure, whatever. I'm gonna keep doing that.
Mama Donya or something.
Mama Donya, that's right. And they go to this place. It's like a refugee camp almost, except they say later on it's not a refugee camp, okay?
But it's totally a refugee camp.
Exactly. And none of the people want to at all help either Bucky or Sam or anything. And they're trying to ask, like, we're looking for Donya, we're looking for this person. Have you ever heard of her? He manages to talk to one person, and it's a teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Manages to talk to one person, it's a teacher.
Sam manages to talk to one person.
Sam, I should mention Sam. Sam manages to get to talk to one person, and it's a teacher. And it's only because he's looking after some kids, and he obviously doesn't want to leave them. The teacher basically lays out, it's like, we don't trust anyone out over here. We only trust the Flag Smashers, because everything that the world police say, the America say, anyone that tries to say they're going to help us is all nothing. We don't get anything in return. We just get left on the sidelines. We said we were going to be given teachers. That was 6 months ago. And I was like, okay, I kind of see why you would rally behind the Flag Smashers. And then he goes away, and Sam just kind of gets, it's like, okay, we're really not going to get anywhere, and I kind of understand why. But Zemo manages to go down, and he talks to a few kids that are in the courtyard and offers them sweets.
Turkish candies, they're
Turkish delight, they're irresistible. They were my son's favorite, and I'm like, oh, okay, there's a reason for this.
All the Turkish delight shit's fucking hilarious. Zemo. He just knows, like, so many memes.
So many memes for him. It's just gonna be created out of nowhere. And he talks to these kids, and he's like, do you know, and he asked one of the kids, do you know Mama Donya? I was like, yeah, she's a friend of mine, and I want to go to her funeral. Do you know where that's going to be held? And the kid gives up the information. But then he goes and tells the little kid, it's like, see those people over there, those people behind me, they're not to be trusted. So see what lips. Okay?
I just want to say, like, you see the way Sam holds himself in this scene.
Yeah.
And I just had this thought wash over me just then. Like, you see how he's holding himself, like he's talking to this refugee, and throughout this episode, think about the guy that when Steve Rogers made his Winter Soldier, because the first appearance for Sam was in the Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Steve makes his speech talking about the price of freedom is high, as it always has been, but it's a price I'm willing to pay. And, you know, Sam's behind him, and after the speech he goes, did you write that down first, or did you do that at the top off the top of your head? Think about that Sam to the Sam now, and how fucking different he is.
Yeah.
Like, that's
night and day.
Fucking development.
Yeah.
It's weird though.
Oh my god,
like, Sam, the single character and person in the world, seems to have more confidence. But his, like, I feel like him in when we first meet him, he knows where he fits, and now this version of Sam doesn't. So it's really interesting. Like, the person has developed, but his sense of identity has degraded. Yeah, and needs to be built back up. It's very interesting, and I also really like this scene for Zemo because. Like he mentions his son, and part of the, like, so we learn about his backstory, right? Yeah. But one of the things that for me makes him even more of a compelling villain back when we saw him in the movies now is that he had like the life of luxury, and he gave it up for a cause that he truly believes in. Yeah. I think he's an even
because
better
his family
villain.
died.
Right, exactly. And he's like, you know, it's more important to do this than, and he was willing to give it all up and give up freedom and all that stuff. I think he's even better. And bizarrely, while also being like a world manipulator level like villain, is also kind of like an everyman, where he can just speak to this kid and he's like, I know what you're going through. I can relate to you. I know how to speak to you in a way that Sam didn't, and Sam's literally the hero. Yeah, which is very interesting.
I'm not gonna lie, there was a bit of a creepy factor to this. Two creepy factors. I was like, one, obviously he's a villain. He's kind of like manipulating like the kid to try and get information, which is obviously a very villainous trait. But also the guy is singing "Bar Bar Black Sheep" and he's offering little kids Turkish delights. And I was like,
it's a bit weird.
I'm not gonna.
It was a bit weird.
I'm gonna step back from that one. I'm gonna sit right back and then let you do your thing, brother. Don't worry about that. I'm not gonna go near that. Anyway, he gets the information from the kids, and Sam calls Sharon Carter, and says, she gets a call. Sorry. Sam calls her. Where am I?
I don't know. Where
what
are
part
you,
of the
Is
scene
it
am I
also
in?
worth noting, though, in the end of that scene, Zemo says they're not to be trusted, like Bucky and Sam to the kids?
Yeah, that was very interesting.
Well, he
there,
needs
wasn't
leverage.
Because he ended up telling them about the funeral, but that's because he sort of had to later. What if he didn't have to later?
I was wondering what was happening then. It didn't turn out to bear any fruit, but I was like, maybe.
But I feel like it will later on.
Possibly.
It did. Because he needed the kids not to tell them, so that he had the leverage.
He did hold it. It didn't seem like it lasted very long to me, and it didn't seem like it was that impactful. But it did actually mean something.
They're apprehended by John Walker, and I finally learned his name, Hoskins.
Yes, I learned his name in this.
Oh yeah,
as well.
Hoskins. Oh, it doesn't matter now, does it?
I learned Lamar because when he shouts, it was like Lamar. So
like they're apprehended by literally quote unquote Captain America and sidekick.
Yeah,
right. John Walker.
Who could arrest them.
The end of it, I get. The end of it, I get. But I feel like it was just sort of like, I'm not going to tell you because I want to keep myself useful. And then 5 minutes later, they do the thing, and I'm like, okay.
But he doesn't tell them. He makes it so that
he has to lead them.
Right, exactly.
I get that. I just felt like it wasn't enough. But then I thought...
It's only a location.
But then I thought as well, it's like, well, that adds to the villainous side of him, so maybe that's a good thing, character building. Anyway, Sam calls Sharon and asks, like, for some information. And she's also entering, like, a heavily guarded place. Is she entering Madripoor again?
She's still in Madripoor.
I was going to say, didn't she kill that Selby person?
Yeah.
Do you reckon they don't know yet? Or is it going to say, returning to the scene of the crime, that's a bold move.
I mean, they, Bucky and Sam took the heat for that, for sure.
Yeah, good point.
And also, I feel like she's way too high up. Since you've said it, everything I'm looking at her, I'm like, yeah, maybe you really are
Power broker.
Are the Shadow Broker, or like you work for the
Shadow Broker. What's this, Mass Effect? You mean the Power Broker?
Did I do that?
Yeah.
I have been thinking about Mass Effect a lot recently.
Every night.
I can't believe I did that.
Anyway, I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
We then cut to Carly. She's at a grave. And
this is
badass. They're talking next to this grave, and she's with one of her friends there, and they're discussing little facts about themselves. And then they take apart one of the steps from this grave, and they pull out 7 vials of super soldier serum.
In the coolest format possible, a fanny pack.
A fanny pack. The best, easiest way. And those things don't need to be kept at a certain temperature as well or anything like that. It's just one of them things. Yeah. And she opens it up and she starts to question some of the stuff she's doing. She's like, do you think I should bring more people to our cause? Do you think I should use these? And then they're talking about their past. The other guy's saying that his father fought in the against the Nazis and things like that. Grandfather, sorry, not father. Grandfather's fought against the Nazis. It gets a kind of like real for a second, and it does show a different side to them, and it makes you think, okay, maybe there's some good to these people here. Maybe they have got a good cause and great intentions. Did you guys like this scene at all?
I love the stash. That was freaking awesome. That was so cool.
Push a step in there, pull it to the side.
I like Carly's development. I actually like Carly now.
Same. I agree.
I'm glad she killed people in the first one. It was important that she actually did something, because otherwise she was set up to be just too good, like basically an angel, and it's not compelling at all.
Yeah.
And I like that other people see in her what they need. So like the guy there, he mentions, like, I think my grandfather would have liked you and what we're doing, and he literally fought Nazis.
Yeah.
So, and he needs a cause, and he needs her, and he believes in like the ideal. And so everywhere she turns, she's either hearing from the people that are antagonistic to her, that they hate her, or from the people that need her help, that they like what she's doing. So in a weird way, she kind of feels like she has to do it, because if she doesn't, no one else will. And it's this really weird juxtaposition, because that's exactly why Steve did everything he did. She isn't Steve, but it's that same pressure.
Everyone also keeps talking about the time we're in. We need new heroes and all this sort of stuff. That's a line that was said in the first episode from Sam. We need new heroes, one suited to the times, these times. And it was said again in this grave scene, where the old mate goes, I never thought there'd be another Captain America until I met you. They need someone that looks like them, that don't have the luxury, of keeping their hands clean, all this sort of stuff. But I think someone like Sam's the only one that can relate to them from his background.
I agree.
In the times of today, he can be the everyman hero. For all cultures and races and creeds and countries, you need that sort of person. It can't be the American blonde hair, blue-eyed white guy. Like, it's just like, it's just not the time. Like, Steve Rogers made sense, but after Steve, it just, finding someone like that in today's world only represents one group of people and can't represent the greater good.
Yeah.
So it is someone like Carly or someone like Sam. So I think what everyone's hinting to is just like, are you guys all fucking stupid? Look at everything you're describing Sam. Why doesn't anyone see that yet?
Right.
Yeah.
Not even Sam sees it yet. It's so annoying.
It is frustrating.
In the next scene, we see they're about to head out to the funeral, and John Walker.
There is one thing I
Go
would
ahead.
say, because it's comedic timing at its absolute best.
Go on.
At the flat, Zemo sort of says like, "I know where it is, but I'm not telling you. I have to take you there."
Yeah.
And
Bucky gets so mad.
Bucky gets right in his face, and it's also important to remember this isn't just a villain.
Yeah.
This is the guy that used him as his like personal muscle hitman, super soldier, right? Gets super in his face. It's actually really tense, and Sam says something like, "Bucky, like, don't do that. If you do that, he's just gonna do that stupid head tilt thing because he is doing that." And then he like very and it's this weird like. Sam is again the hero, like kind of in a weird way saving the day because the whole partnership could have broken down.
Yeah.
But it was also as like comedic timing and it, I don't know, for some reason I found that scene really funny.
It was
and
fun. I liked it too.
Delivered the perfect. I don't know. I didn't realize turning your head from the side back to up right could be funny, but I thought it was hilarious.
We're then in the streets and they're heading towards the funeral. And
There's a lot of Avengers walking around the streets, don't you think?
Yeah.
There's a lot of that's something that stands out to me in the show that I don't like.
And
I'm like, guys,
many,
why are you just walking around? You're
not many people are saying
Avengers.
anything.
Also, I feel like Zemo in that coat stands out as much as John Walker.
Oh yeah, he looks like a pimp. Surely, like straight down walking on the thing. It's like, okay, that guy's a sex trafficker. Oh right, that is. Yeah, so they're heading down the road, and John Walker appears out of nowhere, and he is pissed. John Walker and sidekick at this point. I didn't know his name yet. And they're pissed. They're like, Zemo, you're under arrest. And they're like, whoa, calm down. Look, okay, it's like. They try and talk to each other. They're, okay, look, we know where Carly's going to be. She's going to be at this funeral. And John goes, all right, that's cool. Let's take them down together. Let's go in hot and lays out a fast and hot plan. And they're like, no. Sam goes, I want to try and end this peacefully. I want to try and reason with her and end it peacefully. It's the only chance I can get if I go one-on-one with her and try and bring her down quietly.
They kind of, it's sort of to do with their past. He wants to go in like hard and fast because he's a Special Forces Medal of Honor award-winning guy, right?
That's the way he's been taught.
Also Special Forces, is like, no. I used to counsel guys with PTSD, soldiers returning and stuff in stressful events. Like she's suffering. Like if there's ever a chance to get through to her, it's now. Like I know what I'm doing. Let me talk to her.
I think,
but it's also Sam's reasoning to be more Steve than like anyone else. Is that the line? You know, if we go because they're like, dude, if you could die if you do this, don't go in. Because them as soldiers, as in John Walker and Lamar. It's just them thinking like soldiers that like we look after each other. The mission's them, so they don't sympathize and empathize with the enemy, and that's what's wrong. That's why that's such a soldier mindset, and that's not what Captain America is. Where Sam goes, if I go in hot and the op goes wrong, more people will die. He's as concerned for the other people on the other side that they're fighting against as he is for his own people.
Yeah,
that's an important distinction. Between a soldier and Captain America.
A hero.
And that's Steve and that's Sam and a hero. Yeah, that's it. Because that is what a soldier thinks. I'm telling you right now. It's, you know, soldiers think...
The number one priority is
you look after your brothers. You know, you look after your group. And you can't empathize with your mission.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, the sidekick that I still didn't know his name at this point yet goes to Sam. He's like, Sam, you're gonna let him go in there cold like that? Your partner could get killed. So no, to Bucky. Bucky, you okay with Sam going in like that? Yeah. Your partner could get killed with no backup. And he goes, he doesn't need backup. He's dealt with worse, and also he's not my partner. Just to lay that in there right there, because I got to give that jab. But then after a little bit of talking, the sidekick manages to talk John down. He's like, actually, maybe there is a good point to this. And John, being the soldier, like we just said, listening to your partner, he goes, all right, let's try it your way. Let's try and do it your way then. Yeah. And then they end up going with that plan.
I do want to point one thing out, which is that Sam is almost more Steve Rogers than Steve Rogers was, because Steve never got to be this kind of Captain America. He was literally fighting Nazis and Hydra. Yeah. It was very clear who the good and bad guys were, right? And the closest he even ever gets is the shield thing with the gunships, which is still infected by Hydra at the end of the day.
And even then it was kind
of
it's
clear. In Civil Wars where you see it stand out.
Right. But my point is that Sam's...
Because that's the great...
Yeah. But look, that Sam's
great
issue
debate.
is much more nuanced. And like Carly is like technically a terrorist, but also kind of a freedom fighter. She's got a point, and John Walker has.
It's
a
a
point.
modern problem.
Right, it's a very modern problem. It's very complicated. There are lots of different ways to look at it. There are terrible optics. There are very few good optics. Also, everybody has a phone, so if you know, like, and he's actually genuinely concerned because both sides have innocence. Both sides have a point.
Yeah.
There is a way to get this working, but it also involves incredibly complicated, bloated bureaucracies.
Yeah.
And like what you want to do and what you can actually get done are two very different things. Like
Exactly.
Sam's in a very complicated spot where when you're on the other side from Nazis, you're not.
Yeah, it's very
Which is
much.
not to take anything away from Steve, just to say that Sam's really having to work at this.
He's really having to work, and he's making headway.
He's proving
though.
himself.
He's
Yeah,
making
he really
headway. So yeah, they go to the funeral, and Sam goes in alone. John says, "I'll give you 10 minutes to go in alone."
Immediately gets antsy. He's just like ants in his pants.
All
can't
over
stop.
the place. Like he's staring at the shield, and at one point he puts on his helmet, and he's walking, pacing back and forth. Bucky's like standing by the door, almost to guard it. And at one point, like John just looks at the bloody clock, and he's just like, "That's it, I'm going in." And he walks over to the door, and Bucky's just like, don't make me take you out, bro. This is because I'll fuck you up, but I won't even feel it. I'm just gonna just tell you right now. But he gets in the way. But then John tries to get into his head.
Importantly,
Go on.
he said like Sam isn't my partner, but what is he doing? Despite them saying like he's in danger, you could let him die. He's like, no, he's Falcon. Like he's got it. They do eventually get to him.
Yeah.
But
That's the thing. The only people that believe Sam can be Captain America, not even Sam does, is Bucky.
Yeah.
And Steve. But Steve's gone.
Yeah.
So Bucky's the only one there that's like, I believe in Steve so much that the fact that he believes in you, so do I.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
He does get in his head. He does get in his head at the end. But meanwhile, while that's happening, Sam heads over to the funeral.
Yeah.
He's up in the top part, I guess, like a window overlooking the funeral. It's very like soft ceremony, a lot of nice people there. Carly's giving a speech to everybody, and she turns it almost when she sees Sam. She first of all starts talking about Mama Dunya, how great she was taking us in, and when she sees Sam, she kind of turns it to a flag smasher propaganda piece. And I was like, I wouldn't have done this here, but whatever. It's your funeral, right? Go and you do what you got. Where's her? A funeral that
It's Mama Dunya's funeral.
Are running. Anyway, she does that. After they all disappear, she waits down there.
Sam lets them complete the ceremony.
Doesn't want to be
doesn't
disrespectful,
interrupt,
as a good person would, right? Lets everything die down, and he heads downstairs. And Carly's like, "I thought you'd be. I saw you up there, by the way." And they start having a little conversation.
I loved this conversation, man.
The conversation is fantastic. It's great as well, like the way that their body language is as well in this scene, where like she seems very guarded, she doesn't want to come too close, and Sam just sort of like does a bit of flanking around the side and stuff like that, and then she sort of breaks down, she comes closer, sits down next to him. Exactly, he's got his back face to hers to sort of be like, I'm not in an attacking pose, you could take me out any second, but
goes and sits next to her.
Exactly. And there's one line that I picked up in the end where they're talking about, it's like, I get what you're saying. Oh, that comes later. There goes, sorry, I'm just reading some of my notes here. Meanwhile, Sam's having a real discussion. Some of the bad stuff they realize has gone wrong. And he goes, "You killed innocent people." And she goes, "They weren't innocent. They were roadblocks in my way, and I will kill them again if I have to."
Well, the first line before that is, "What if I'm making the world a better?" But Sam, what if I'm making the world a better place? And he goes, "No, it's not a better place if you're killing people. It's just different."
Exactly.
Right. That's really good. He also brings up Zemo's thing. It's like that's kind of there's people calling you supremacists.
Yeah.
And then they do the killing people. It's just different. And then she says they were roadblocks in my way. And he goes, "Do you know how that sounds?" And she's like,
and he's like, "Wow!" And then I was like, "That's a moment right there." And she goes, "No, you called me into it." It's like, "No, you said those words."
But he got her a couple of times, because when he said it's just different, she goes, "You're either really good. Wow, you're either really good or." Helplessly optimistic.
Yeah.
And that's another Steve trait, Tony going, "Sometimes I miss your giddy optimism." Like,
Sam even says, "Can't I be both?" And Steve was literally both of those things.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot of like,
it's great stuff.
Believes in people.
Yeah,
Steve believed in people. It was the whole speech at the end of Civil War of like, he's like, "I can never fit in anywhere, not even in the army." My faith's in people, individuals. Like that's the same with Sam. It's not about a flag of America. Captain America, as in Steve Rogers, was more than just for America. He was for individual people, for everyone.
That's why he was Cap. No one called him America. No one called him like
Exactly.
Captain America. It's Cap.
Hey, Captain
Yeah.
America. No, it wasn't that. It
It's
was
Hey
Hey Cap. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Cap. Yeah.
And then there's one more line towards the end of their conversation before it all goes hectic, where he goes, "Look, I agree with your fight. I just can't get with the way that you're fighting." And that moment sort of like it gets through to her. It's like, okay, so he's a good person. He just doesn't like the way we're doing it. And then all of a sudden, John Walker starts busting in. It's like, Carly Morgenthau, you're under arrest. The real hero of the show, as Diogo would say right there. It's like, you're under arrest. And immediately Carly just assumes that this was a double cross. It's like, you were just trying to stall me so your friends can get here. So you can just, I'm never going to trust you again. Runs out of there. And it all goes haywire. Sam tries really hard to try and like reason. It's like, no, that's not what this was, but there's no use.
Yeah,
it's terrible. No way you're going to be able to explain that to them.
Gone. It's
Exactly. Kylie gets away, but Zemo manages to corner her in one of the many rooms in this maze because everyone just gets lost straight away in this place.
Immediately lost in whatever this place is.
Exactly. But Zemo corners her and shoots her right in the gut. Amazing. He carries on after her, and she drops all of her vials of super soldier serum. She hides behind a desk because she's being cornered. She hasn't got a weapon or anything like that, although she probably could have thrown something really hard at him, but okay, let's forget about that. And Zemo spots him. It's like,
is this what I think it is?
Is this what I think it is? And immediately he knows and starts smashing them one by one, stepping on them with this amazing score in the background, like, oh.
I think there are a lot of people that thought he was considering taking it so that he could kill the super soldiers, and I was like, this is perfect tension because the people that don't know Zemo are gonna think that, and I'm like, how is he gonna do this? Because Zemo hates, really genuinely, he hates Carly for what she is. She hates this, and all of the Flag Smashers. He hates everyone that was involved with it. He hates anyone that thinks about.
So he was never gonna take this damn thing.
The liquid. Yeah. Right. Like he hates it. I immediately, without any hesitation, which he mentions to Sam at the beginning. You know, I think he asked like, if you had the chance to take the serum, would you take it?
I think he does it a bit after, but he does ask that. Yeah. And without hesitation.
Yeah. And he's like, that's admirable, but he's also, again, he's kind of admirable. Like you can believe him because he really would just, and he just destroys it all. He thinks.
It's almost converting Zemo into being like, I like you, Sam. I know you're an Avenger and everything.
Not bad. That's the thing, actually. We didn't get any Zemo, not much Zemo and Steve action, right? Like, do you reckon there was a little bit actually in Civil War?
Not really. They were very much more enemies. Where now we get to see them.
He was going after Winter Soldier really more than anything else,
right?
Because otherwise, what would he have said to Steve? It's like, well, actually, you're not like those other fuckers over there. So anyway, we're moving away from the thing. It's really cool.
Well, he said there's the only time Zemo really came face to face with Cap, he goes, oh, there's a hint of green in your eyes, an imperfection. Like that was like what he said to Cap.
Right.
I think he saw Cap as what he was. He knew who Cap was.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, Zemo's also kind of a hypocrite. He uses the Winter Soldier for what, like 5 years or something. Like he's not. He's a really interesting character.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Oh, he only used Bucky for like 5 minutes. Because he wakes up Bucky. In the facility, and then by the time Bucky gets out, he tries to get in the helicopter, but Steve stops him and gets him back. That's the only time he actually gets to use Bucky.
Well, I suspect that might not be 100% accurate because they know when Zemo walks into Madripoor, they know him as the guy that runs the Winter Soldier. So I think there was more time. We just saw that version of it, that amount of it.
I thought maybe.
No, I think they know that he did run the Winter Soldier, and they see him now with him again. That he's like, he's back. He's got him.
Anyway, in the very next moment, while he's destroying all of those vials, John throws a vibranium shield at Zemo's head, and I'm like,
proportional response.
That's gonna be fine. That's fine. He totally didn't see you. It's a sucker punch with a vibranium shield.
He's now dead.
I was gonna say he's dead. That's death right there.
He's dead.
That's not. Death. Oh, a bit of a headache later. Oh, you know what I mean?
Also,
that's
I love
dead.
how he cures it with some ice and whiskey.
That's all it is, bruv. And a bit of a cold flannel on my head. Good enough. Good enough right there. Anyway, he gets knocked out on the ground, and Carly escapes in that moment. And John comes over and he sees Zemo on the floor and he looks around at what's going on.
And we all knew that we're like, there's
Yep.
gonna be one fucking vial, cunt.
One vial left over in the corner, and he sees it, picks it up, looks at it,
Realizes what it is.
and then puts it straight in his pocket.
Also, very important. It's like glowing blue.
Yeah,
Because if it wasn't, you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know what this is. You know exactly what this
Right.
is. Yeah, and then we cut to the Flag Smashers. Carly's hurt, but she will survive. It seems like. Don't worry about it. Bullets are fine. Don't worry about it. You just put a patch on it. It's
super.
okay. It's true. Yes. I'm just like, she puts it on there, and they realize that they've lost all of the vials. One of the other guys went to go check, and it's all gone.
Is it all though? There's 7 Flag Smashers. They lost 7. Where's the other 6?
I'm not sure. I mean, to be honest, I said 7 because that's what I saw on screen. I don't know if that's all of them. And also, did the guy tell the truth? There was 20 made, or was there more even? I don't know what was going on. That's just what we assume.
Yeah.
But there could be more out there very easily that maybe she lost or traded for something, for example. Anyway, they cut to the Flag Smashers and there goes, they've realized they've lost all of the vials. And she also gets another text from the power broker saying that...
the Shadow Broker.
The Shadow Broker, that's right.
Meet me at the Citadel.
Exactly.
You'll know what that means.
Oh yeah, I know what that means right now. Exactly, I know all about Mass Effect. Saying that she's living on borrowed time. That this is that she's trying to like escape from the power broker and that she's done some bad shit. Yeah. And then we cut to the gang, and Sam sends a message to Sharon while they're back at the flat, while Zeno's got a cold flannel on his head because he's not dead. Yeah. Apparently, vibranium shield doesn't kill you. Sends a message to Sharon saying, "Can you keep an eye on John Walker?
Ooh,
and
interesting.
Keep your eye in the sky on him in case he makes a move on Carly." He says in that message.
So you know how in movies where they'll say something like, "Oh, the villain is doing a thing," then it'll cut to a shot, and that's the villain. So the next time you watch it, you're like, "Oh, they mentioned the villain, and they show us the villain." The Shadow Broker, no, the Power Broker. Saying,
the Power Broker.
I'm gonna fricking kill you, and then it cuts to Sam talking to Sharon.
Just
Sam
saying,
is the Shadow Broker confirmed.
Just say that was one of our theories, by the way, Tyler, in the last episode. That
I saw that.
She seems really. I'm just saying, she's either working for or she is.
I don't think so.
We'll see.
She might be working for the Power Broker, but
Could
I don't
be.
think she's the Power Broker.
We'll see.
I think this cameo they've been teasing for the next episode is the Power Broker.
It's Paul Bettany.
Yeah, it's Paul Bettany. I don't know what you're talking about. No, Paul Bettany as Mephisto. That's what it is.
That's
the one right there.
That's it.
We all know who the investor's going to be.
Well, they said it's a new character that's in the comics. So I think
Mephisto.
the Power Broker is going to be actually some other character that we know as well.
No, it's Mephisto.
Is
the guy not listening?
The guy doesn't listen to us. It's Mephisto. We're telling you here
All the
right
blood's
now.
in his fucking head, the upside down cunt.
Upside down cut. There you go.
It's true. You got to understand.
Yeah, just get a boner or something. Get the blood out of your head, you know. Anyway, yeah. So it says keep an eye on John in case he makes a move on Carly. And she's like, okay, no problem. Zemo asks. This is the point where I asked. He goes, Zemo asked Sam if he was ever offered the Super Soldier Serum, would he take it?
I think he asks if he was ever offered.
Oh, if he was ever offered, yes.
Yeah.
And then he also asks. Does he also ask?
Yeah. Then he says like, if you were, would you? And Sam's like, nope.
Nope, straight away, no.
Yeah.
And he admires him for his like no hesitation, nothing like that. So he knows straight away that he is serious about what he's saying right there. Show. Exactly.
Sam knows that. He knows he's the main character. This is paying the check. This is how he's going to bring the family business back together. If he's not Falcon in the show, he's not getting paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Bucky walks in right after that and pretty much is like, I don't like Walker is fucking crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, shouldn't have given him that shield. And Sam's like, I didn't give him the shield. He's like, well, Steve definitely didn't.
Exactly. Who gave him the shield then?
And then I love because
go on.
Yeah, because Walker and Lamar come in and they're like, that's it. I'm ordering you to hand Zemo over. And Sam's, I love the line. Sam's like, listen here, shield or no shield. The only thing you're running right here is your mouth. And I'm like, fuck yeah, that's fucking right. Shut the fuck up. The only thing you're running right
is your mouth.
Right.
Oh my God, that was hilarious.
I will say it's also important. Bucky says, he comes in, he says, I don't like John Walker. He's crazy. I know his type.
Yeah.
So like he's, don't forget, been a soldier for 90 years.
Yeah.
Like he knows someone's going to crack when he sees it, you know?
Yeah. He gets in there and he's ready to start a fight straight away. And then they do start a fight. They just start battling it out right there. And I'm like, this isn't going to go well for any of you guys. Sam and Bucky are just going to tear you guys a new one.
Break you up.
But then out of nowhere,
Wakanda arrives.
Ding! Vibranium spear just comes out of nowhere. And then
these ladies have -5 chill.
Yeah, oh yeah, no chill.
Yeah.
No, exactly. They
for
lost a
sure.
couple of
There's-
points of chill because
there's
there's
no
no
chill.
But I love the way that they enter. Massive spear, and then they just walk in.
Yeah, they just walk.
Like, we're here. Everyone, you will shut up. Otherwise, you know what will happen.
John Walker gets the best dressing down I've ever. Can I please say?
Go
that?
ahead, go for it, go for
He
it.
says they say like they introduce themselves as the Dora Milaje,
Exactly.
and he says the Dora Milaje don't have jurisdiction, and she says. This is so awesome. The Dora Milaje have jurisdiction wherever they find themselves to be.
Sick line,
It was
beautiful. I was
Just-
like,
just burn
Alright.
to a fucking crisp. Unless you're a phoenix, you ain't coming back from that.
exactly. And then he makes the biggest mistake of his life.
Oh, he does the.
We just got off on the wrong foot. Hand on the shoulder. Twist, immediately start fighting, and he gets his ass whooped. He gets hit to the ground. The rest of them start fighting as well. Sam and Bucky, funniest shit in the world. They're just sitting on the side. They're like, should we intervene? Should we do something about this? And he's like, Sam's just like, sorry, Bucky's just like, nah, we don't need to do anything. There goes right
It's
here.
only because they have so little chill.
Yes,
They're like, these guys they're legit gonna get murdered. And they
exactly.
put this hotel in my credit card, so like it's on my
Yeah.
statement. We can't be doing
The
this.
deposit's gone. And then they go, okay, well, look, we don't want these guys are assholes, but we don't want them to get hurt. We don't
Right.
want them to die.
Yeah.
They are good people at the end of the day, Sam and Bucky.
Can we
so
just
they're
say
not gonna...
the action is so well choreographed as well in this show?
So good.
really well.
Bucky's fight in the bar, brilliant.
Yeah,
Sam's fight at the beginning, especially in the plane, incredible.
yeah.
And now this one with the Dora Milaje.
Yeah.
Something I was going to
Like-
say, the Dora Milaje fight as well was actually quite cool because sometimes when you have females fighting in a thing, they make a different point of it and they try to make it seem extra or something like
Right,
that.
yeah.
In this, they just badass as everybody else in the goddamn
Yeah.
scene. It's just like, oh, Sam and Bucky are fighting, that's badass. The Dora Milaje and John are fighting, okay, they're fucking badass too. Lamar on the other side,
They're
he's getting his ass
functional-
whooped too. Yeah,
they're functionally Amazons.
it's
Like,
just not. It's just fun.
they're warriors from birth, basically. Like
Exactly.
They're freaking awesome.
And they have vibranium spears, which helps a
Exactly.
lot.
And the
helps a lot.
only problem that I have, although it's not that big of a problem, is the hairstyle. Like,
Oh,
where's
you
my-
need a fro. You want a fro. That's
I
what you
need-
want.
I need my fro.
Look, they only get the fro once they achieve. It's like a Medal of Honor.
But I
type
actually
thing.
dig the bald look. Looks sick.
No, it looks
They
it
pull
looks
it
good.
off,
It looks
yeah.
good. Anyway, and they start fighting each other. There's all fights breaking out everywhere.
Zemo just ducks out.
Oh yeah, he just slowly closes the door, locks the door.
great.
He locks himself in the bathroom. I do like the line of us like, John, just calm yourself down before the fight started, and then this all erupted
Right,
into
right.
everything. And then one of the Wakandan women fighting Bucky, or trying to restrain him anyway, taps him a couple times on his shoulder,
Yeah.
and actually pops his arm off. His vibranium arm pops off, and the look of disbelief in his face
Oh, it
is
takes him
like,
out of the fight.
he's like,
Not because he can't fight.
it's like, I didn't even know this was possible.
It's totally psychological.
And then she just sort of like walks away from him. It's like, okay, that's the end of that.
It takes all the fight out of him,
Yeah.
and I think it is much more that he's broken-hearted.
Yeah.
Because of course he's not
His
going to hurt
his
them.
ego's broken.
Yeah, his ego's.
It's all
busted.
fucking ego. This is
Yeah.
all fucking ego for John Walker.
For John
It's
Walker.
like he was saying earlier, he doesn't know what the serum is. He doesn't understand the serum. He doesn't respect
we
the
were
serum. It's
talking-
the same way we said to Bucky earlier in the episode. He goes, "Oh, this is so easy for you in it with the serum running through your veins."
Yeah, he does say that.
Like he thinks like it makes you just like easy. It's like a cheat code. He's like, "Oh, they got it so easy. They got the serum." He doesn't understand what the serum really means.
Yeah. We was in this scene. We were talking about Bucky, where he gets his arm turned off, basically takes it off and whatnot.
yeah.
And he
Right.
also just
I
sort
was
of
talking
turned-
about John. I thought you were talking about
Yeah.
right before where John Walker had the fight taken out of
That's
him.
also valid as
With,
well. What you're
um,
saying.
They
with
both
the
did,
shield getting speared through.
They both
That
did,
bit
but
as
for,
well,
like,
yeah.
opposite reasons. Like I felt John Walker, it was his ego's just crushed, and
Yeah.
at that point, I would say his personality is gone.
Yeah.
Like it's shattered
Who the hell was-
functionally. Because his very next line talking to Hoskins is like they weren't even super.
Yeah, they weren't
Right?
even super
Which is a
soldiers.
very interesting thing because he's like they weren't even super. The next follow-on
Yeah.
is you don't need to be super to be a badass and to fight Bucky and thing. But no, he doesn't go there, right? He goes to the easy answer.
Yeah.
But we were talking about Bucky, whereas she pokes the arm and it drops off, and that immediately takes the fight out of him.
Yeah.
I feel like for Bucky, that's kind of heartbreaking in a way. Like it's like trust or something where he's like, they didn't
didn't, like-
trust me enough with the arm to let it be completely under my control, right?
And that's another thing, because like he goes afterwards like he didn't know that could happen, and Sam said, "Do you know that can happen? Do you know that can happen?" And not telling him is another like broken trust sort of in between. It's like they didn't even tell me I can do that. They kept that secret for themselves to use against me one day.
Also, the way that thing reattaches, oh my god, was that cool?
Yeah,
that
it's just
so
like
awesome.
purple lights, put it on, and
That was so awesome.
So good. Anyway, Zemo escapes in this, and John's been defeated. He says they weren't even super soldiers, and John and Sidekick take off after this, and they're sitting in what looks like a shopping mall. They're having like a coffee and whatnot, and they're having like a little heart-to-heart moment. They goes, John says, "If you could take the super soldier serum, would you?" And his sidekick's like, "Hell yeah, of course I would." And he basically tries to say that it makes you more you, right? It just gives you more power. You're just more you. Even though that's not... All right, yeah, that's true, technically way it is, but you need to kind of be pure of heart in order to make it work. And he turns over to John and it's like, "Wouldn't you?" It's like, "You've had 3 medals of honor. 3 medals of honor. You got those by making the right decision in the heat of the moment." You know, and then John turns around and says, "You know, in Afghanistan, what we had to do to get those medals, you know that was very far away from right.
Right.
Being Cap is the first time that I've ever had the chance to do something that feels right."
Okay, controversial opinion. And then this is the first time he sounds like a human being to me.
Exactly.
No, but it's also like, this is why you shouldn't have been chosen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. You don't know. You're just such a soldier buy-in.
Yeah.
Like, you're not...
You don't need to be handed something to be a good person, to do the right thing. You should just want to do that. That's you. Go out and do it today. Go.
Exactly.
Because
see, of course, he's human. That's why it's compelling performance. That's why it's a compelling character. But it's also why I fucking hate the guy.
Oh yeah, John Walker needs to get fucking wrecked.
Yeah, he does.
I can't wait to see Bucky and Sam beat the fuck out of him and take the shield from him. I cannot wait.
Like at
just
the
double
end
team him.
Yeah. It's so like this scene where he's speaking to Hoskins. One obviously confirms that like he just isn't the right guy. He shouldn't be Cap, right? And he's not the guy to take up the shield following Steve. Yeah. But also, this is the first moment where we actually meet John Walker, where like the human being that like kind of like he wants to do good, but he's more about results and stuff like that. And at this point, I knew exactly where this was going. I'd known since the first episode, but like he's finally compelling as a guy who was given the job.
But it's totally not meant to be there.
Right, exactly. He's a post turtle, right? When you see a turtle on a post, you know it didn't get there by itself, and you know it's not supposed to be there.
What's really shit is that this line is probably what a lot of those idiots online that think that John Walker is actually the good guy. Don't worry, he's actually a great guy.
Hated him
this is what they see, and they see it just isolated, like tunnel vision. Like you have to look at everything else as well, and it just means more.
Just to be clear,
go on.
While this is his first human moment, I still fucking hate him.
Yeah.
And I've hated him even more in this moment because I'm like, if you were really Captain America, you'd quit.
Yeah.
Like, this is the moment where you go, I need to turn over the serum to someone I can trust and not be Cap.
What you do straight away is just head over to Sam, like completely disarm himself and be like, I need help. This is not what I thought was going to happen. Right. I didn't see this going. I don't want to be this guy. So let's do this together.
Even though it's a human moment,
simple done.
Still fucking hate him the whole way through it.
Exactly.
He does at every turn. He does the exact opposite, and we'll get to a scene. I think he's literally the exact opposite of Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Coming in.
There's one line as well at the end of this where the other guy, his sidekick, obviously we don't know his name yet. He says, "Man, imagine how many lives you could have saved that day if we had the serum."
Yeah. Again, and this is what makes John Walker actually a fairly compelling villain / antagonist.
Yeah.
Is everything they're saying, like on paper, compelling, right? Saving lives, Medal of Honor, like he understands that he did this thing in Afghanistan that was brave and stuff, but it wasn't exactly like quote unquote the right thing. He knows he doesn't live up to Steve, all this good stuff. every point takes the exact wrong decision.
Exactly. Then we get Carly, who calls up Sarah, Sam's sister, and calls up to find out a bit more information about Sam, to see if he's someone she can trust, because I guess some of the words that he said at the funeral did sink in, and also kind of issues a little bit of a threat. It's like, I need you to pass on some coordinates to Sam so we can meet up, and but if you don't, or if Sam doesn't come alone, like I said, I'm gonna pay a visit to your little son. Your little son's over there.
Names the kids.
Names the kids. It's like, ooh.
I don't know about kind of a threat. That is 100%.
That's a straight up threat. That's a straight up threat.
Just like
that's
John
a fucking
Walker,
promise.
you guys completely misunderstood
Super
all of
soldier
these
terrorist
characters.
who's murdered multiple people says, if you don't do what I want, I'm coming to visit
Murdered.
you.
Was it
It's
really
like
her that murdered them?
It was the fire.
this
fire
show
murdered
Natural
them.
causes. Fire's natural.
This show is this fight between two different belief systems, and John Walker represents one side and Carly Morgenthau represents the other. They're both the leaders. They're both these people like the chosen. And neither of them are the future Cap. Neither of them are the future symbol that we need. Sam's this middleman that everyone's fucking missing. Fucking, he's right there, you idiots.
Yeah.
He's right there.
It's so
Real Cap is there.
It's so frustrating, but that's one of the reasons you're watching, right? Like,
Exactly.
That's why you'll get to episode 6, Sam will have the shield, he'll become Captain America, you'll see him in the suit, you'll be like, fucking, let's go.
I was going to say, there's
fucking
2
go.
episodes left. There's not a lot of time left.
know.
I'm just imagining Tyler, the whole of all these episodes, like, it's him! He's right there!
Well, where
Look!
are we going to find Captain America? Like, Sam, it's you fuck.
You fucking idiot! I'm gonna slap you, Anthony Mackie.
Yeah,
if I ever
know,
see
it's
you
so
on the
good.
street.
He's so good, though.
He is great.
Yeah.
Then Sam heads to the meeting place with Bucky in full gear, in full Avengers gear. They're like, all right, we're going to gear up for this because he's kind of pissed.
He's this close to being like, okay, I guess I have to kill you then.
Yeah, because it's like, you've threatened my family for this.
And 2 children.
Exactly. And they don't want to mess around. But Carly goes, don't worry, I didn't want to kill you because there's no point. There'd be no point to me killing you. And
they never hurt Sarah and the kids. And I actually do believe her.
Yeah, I feel like she was just saying that to put some importance
she's
on
totally
the
pulling
facts
strings,
right there.
But also, don't fucking say that.
Yeah, that's not cool. That's not correct there.
Yeah.
It goes, that you're not part of the problem. You're not part of the regime. You're just a tool in the regime, she says.
Killing you would make no difference.
No difference. Exactly. But before they can finish their meeting, before they could do anything like that, Sharon calls up Sam to say John's on the move. He's about to make a move on the hideout for the Flag Smashers, and immediately they all hear Carly understands what's going on. I guess she can hear it somehow, or she
gets a call from someone.
Yeah, I didn't see a call, but let's see what happens. And they all just jump out. She gives him one swift kick as well to Bucky, I should say, and he flies off, and Bucky goes running. We then cut to the hideout where the Flag Smashers are, and John and the sidekick are entering the building with some other SAS guys. And
I thought it was just them 2.
I think there was other guys.
I
I may be wrong in this, but wherever they enter the building and they see all the Flag Smashers, and they start trying to round them up and stuff and whatever. But the sidekick gets taken.
Yeah.
He gets knocked to the ground. He gets taken. He gets tied up to a post in one random room.
Yeah.
But nobody hurts him. Nobody tries to kill him, except they do punch him in the face to knock him out. A little bit of a hurt right there. A little too bad.
Yeah.
But that's what happens there. Walker then goes looking for his partner. They split up for a moment. He's like, shit, where you gone? He hears gunshots on one side. He goes to investigate that.
Couple of the I want to say this because he
Go on.
bursts.
I was just
through
saying the
a door.
cinematography, is that what you're going for?
Oh my god, yeah. There's a couple of things coming up. So he bursts through the door, listens for a noise, and walks up to like one of those round mirrors that's all scratched up. At this point,
Great shot.
oh my god, so good, so perfect, and it's all about like his cracked personality, not knowing his identity, all that stuff, and of course he's given in and taken the serum, right? If you didn't know, but it's actually done really well because in the next
And he's
scene-
twitching and stuff.
right, he's twitching.
Do you notice that? Like, he
Yeah.
twitches and shit.
It's so good. He's so ominous, and like, because I mean, Captain America is very close to being like, one of the most deadly. If it wasn't Steve Rogers, you get the Red
deadly
Skull.
weapon. Yeah.
Those are your 2, right?
Yeah.
And also it's done quite well because although he does kind of go toe to toe with one of the Super Soldier guys, every blow he takes is on the shield, and when he throws the shield, yes, it gets stuck in a wall, but it could be drywall.
There is only one time where I see it, and I'm like, okay, I think he's the Super Soldier. I think this confirms he's the Super Soldier and what, even though we do know that he did take the Super Soldier serum. One time he throws the shield, like you said, it gets stuck in the wall, and I'm like, That's a bit too powerful for a human.
Is
and
that
then afterwards,
concrete or is it drywall? Though?
and then afterwards, he kicks someone across a stairwell,
yeah.
and they go down the stairs, and they go smashing into like a box that's on the wall and crushes it to pieces. And you're like,
that's the moment it's confirmed.
and that's the moment as well that Sam is going
No,
up
I
the
mean,
stairs.
I
and he
feel like it's
sees
not confirmed there. I think it's like you're like 99% sure, but you need something else. And it's when he bends the fucking metal pipe.
Exactly.
And
that's-
Sam sees it. You're like,
Yeah.
fuck!
Right.
And Sam's
Yeah.
like, what did you do?
Well, so he
It's
even
so bad.
says this is where you're just like, was that cinematog? The shot of the scratched up mirror? Because he goes, what did you do? And he's focused on the mission, right? As far as you're concerned, it's still the same John Walker, because he says they took Lamar. We have to find him.
Yeah.
He's thinking about his friend. He's thinking about his partner. He's thinking about the mission.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like this psychotic mess.
Yeah.
Yet.
Exactly. And they go looking together for Lamar.
Bucky's here.
Bucky's here. Yeah, he gets in a small fight with some of the flag smashers.
Very important.
He kicks one of them through a wall.
But Bucky knows what he's about now.
Yes.
At the very beginning, wasn't really sure what he was doing, about himself and what was the mission and Sam and all the conflict. So he gets kind of they punk him on those two semis.
Yeah.
Here, they're fighting Bucky Bartz.
Exactly. He gets in a fight with one of the guys. He kicks him through the wall, and when the guy's like knocked out, he's like, "Stay there."
Yeah, just
stay there. No problem. Then he runs in, and they join the rest of the guys in a big room. It joins in a four-way fight right there. Another knife pops out, and immediately I was like, "Go on, Bucky, let's see your knife skills." And he does a couple of knife flips. It's really awesome like that. And then Hoskins as well gets in the fight.
So
go ahead.
She comes in to stab John Walker.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Hoskins has escaped because he's
exactly.
a badass super soldier.
Exactly.
Not super soldier, special forces soldier.
Special forces soldier, yeah.
And he rugby tackles her to get her to not kill his friend.
Exactly.
And she gets up
and gives one mighty punch to the guy, and he goes flying across the room.
Yeah.
Straight into a pillar, and he goes immediately limp to the ground.
Yeah.
This moment, the silence, every single person in the room stops their fight, turns around to look.
Yeah.
Like they've
See,
just
I don't understand
witnessed-
why this happens. Why the fuck the flag smashers happen to kill other people, but they're fighting someone and someone dies, and they're like, "Oh, we'll stop now."
That's the thing. I don't think the other guys were
I know why.
properly killing people, or at least they were trying to kill people. Whereas they heard before about the murders that Carly committed, and then they've seen it happen in front of her and in front of them, and that was a hard
people
one.
at the depot.
Yeah.
She set a bomb off.
Yes.
And people die as a result.
Yeah.
But in this instance,
It's like the Batman thing. It's like, oh, people die as a result.
In this instance, she just killed somebody with her bare hands.
Yeah.
There's no taking the exact cause and effect away from her. She murdered or killed, however you want to see it, because I guess they're fighting, but I would say murdered Hoskins, and probably didn't mean to.
Yeah.
Right? She's too super for her own good. She's still a young super soldier.
Yeah.
She hit a guy who we can all agree, at least Hoskins is a good dude.
Yeah, he's just a soldier.
I mean, he's a
Side.
fucking idiot.
Yeah,
but
he's
he's,
a fucking
yeah.
idiot.
He's just a soldier.
He's a fucking idiot,
Yeah.
but he's backing his friend.
Yeah.
And he's trying to
Yeah.
complete the mission. He's going up against terrorists.
That's
He's
all
trying
he's
to
trying
do
to
the best
do.
he can do
Yeah.
within the rules that he can work with. And she just straight kills him. And I think she probably didn't mean to, which is one of those other things. It's like the risk of being a super soldier. You have, with unlimited power. It's a Spider-Man thing with great power, great responsibility.
And you saw it in that fight. Bucky had a chance to kill one of them with a knife, and he threw it next to his head. You know what I mean? Like they're not trying to. Bucky and Sam are not trying to kill them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
And everyone stops dead right there. Everyone's in shock. John runs over to his partner. It's like, Lamar. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And in that moment of shock where John is just trying to process what the hell is going on, everyone else is trying to process, all the flag smashers escape. Carly runs through one of the doors that's next to John. And John, for a moment, sees it and goes, I need to go after her. That's my only thought right now. He jumps through the window with the shield first. It's very
shot,
very good shot right there. Lands on a car, proper hero style, one knee down.
Lead landing.
Very good right there. But he doesn't see Carly. He sees another one of the flag smashers
The
and
one
goes.
that was telling her, they need a hero that looks like them and stuff at the grave.
At the graveyard, exactly. And he goes after him immediately. Doesn't think anything. He runs after him, manages to stop him by throwing like the shield at him, and it's in the middle of a public square.
Yeah.
Right by a water fountain. He's completely disarmed. He's not trying to attack. He's on the ground. He's begging for his life. He's like, I don't know where she is. I don't know where she is. It's like, tell me where she is.
And he also said, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Yes, exactly. And at this moment, John, in just the rage, starts mercilessly beating the guy, and then eventually pulls out his shield. And
Not his shield.
The shield, and starts smacking, pounding down on someone that we just can't see. It's just out of shot, and then you just see a bloody hand just pop down next to in that beautiful cinematography.
But also the shot looking up at his fucking deranged face.
It's filled with rage right there. And then you look around, and Sam and Bucky turn up. They're a little bit. They've just come in, and there's people all around with their mobile phones out recording the whole thing. Yeah. And then, at that moment, he stands up with his shield next to him, and you have the most horrifying image in my entire life. Blood on the side of Captain America's shield. Yeah. In front of the whole world, with Sam watching, Bucky watching, right there. And end scene.
It's an incredible...
This episode is fucking amazing. It's so good.
It's so good. So I want to just take this one thing.
Go ahead.
I've been saying that John Walker is the exact opposite since we met him.
Yeah.
And I think that's 100% proved here. Not because he kills a guy, because Steve killed people.
Yeah.
But in the exact way that he does it, is that he took the shield. A shield is used for defense, and he turned that into a weapon, which Steve never did. Not in that way. And I think that's the exact perfect juxtaposition, which is that Steve always used the shield to defend people, and John Walker has used it to attack somebody.
Yeah.
It's the exact opposite of what it's intended to be for.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that perfectly highlights it. Also, the guy was functionally defenseless, and it's not like Steve never lost anyone. Like, Steve lost plenty of people.
Yeah, he suffered a fair bit.
Right. But
Bucky lost his best friend. He lost Bucky.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he did.
He also lost half of the universe.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
And he still managed to go. I saw some whales in the river the other day. Silver lining and everything, guys. Silver lining. You get that?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a fantastic episode, and that moment there really resonated with me. I was like, while Captain America has killed people and stuff like that for good causes, exactly. There was never a shot of blood on his shield, and that shot of blood on this shield is so representative of like staining the legacy of Captain America. Absolutely. And I was like, that couldn't have been more perfect right there.
Steve has killed, and he always killed conscientiously.
Yeah,
which is to say that John Walker here is like mad with rage and power and like trying to get revenge.
Yeah.
And Steve has never done that because he understands the importance of his role in everything that he's doing, which is that it's not just about killing the bad guy or saving people. It's about like saving people.
Yeah.
Right? And so while he does kill people and has killed, it's thought out. Yeah. That makes him sound psychopathic, but
premeditated. I get it.
like John Walker's just giving in to his base emotions, and Steve never did that. He was always in control. Steve was running the serum, and in this case, it's the serum running John Walker.
Very much, yeah. It's such a great episode. I really did love that ending right there.
And those shots, like him looking in the mirror, it's all scratched up, so good. And then this shot with the shield.
And it was very much from the bottom as well. Like he's looking down upon everybody. It's so bad.
Every
so bad.
turn,
so bad.
It's beautiful. Yeah. It's so good. And John Walker, you love to hate him.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned Joffrey as a comparison.
Yeah.
I hate John Walker so much more than I ever hated Joffrey.
Especially in this episode. Like now we're like, okay, this guy, woo boy, all right, yeah.
Right, because Joffrey, I guess, Game of Thrones, Joffrey was like someone to hate, right? But Sam Walker is someone to hate. John Walker is someone to hate, and he's taken something away from Sam, and then like dirtied it and besmirched it and degraded it.
I bet we're gonna see some ramifications within Sam in the next episode of how he's probably gonna feel. He felt shit already leaving the shield to someone else or letting the shield be given to someone else. Now it's been used as a weapon to kill someone, and I bet he's gonna feel like that's his fault, and he's gonna. That's probably what's gonna kick him into gear.
Also, so he's John Walker was recorded doing this.
John Walker's going to get a medal for this. I just want you guys to be aware of that.
Oh yeah, most certainly. Yeah, he killed a terrorist.
Perfect America.
He killed a terrorist
Perfect
and
America.
saved everybody in the area.
Good old America, right
well
there.
Done,
Good stuff.
Both he and Bucky were recorded fighting, and I think this is gonna. First of all, like you said, John Walker's going to be rewarded, and Bucky is going to be punished for having been seen doing Winter Soldier stuff. But very importantly, Bucky is recorded not killing people, right? Just like he did in the gunfight. Like if you notice,
but they're guilty by association in this situation,
for sure,
because they're in the background of Captain America doing this.
And I just think it's going to be interesting to see that Bucky is recorded following the rules. Like he never hurt anyone. Like he doesn't kill anyone in that gunfight in the lab.
Yeah.
He doesn't kill anyone. Go back and watch it. He shoots people in the ankle. He shoots people in the shoulder. Like he's a super soldier. He can hit that.
Yeah.
But he never kills anyone. He hasn't killed anyone. It's really interesting to watch.
It is. How many bloody shields out of 10 would you give this?
Oh man, like 10. This is brilliant.
10 out of 10 shields.
It's so
this is a
freaking good.
phenomenal episode.
It
so
was
great.
Do you have any more final thoughts before we read some comments there, Tyler?
I don't think so. I mean, I think I've sort of spread it out throughout this. I just am excited to see this face-off now and the repercussions. I think John Walker's going to get a fucking medal for this.
He will.
And I think
God,
Bucky and Sam are just going to... I think next episode they're going to take the shield and fight John.
They're going to have to go underground.
Yeah.
There's going to be a confrontation.
There's going to be a confrontation. They're going to take all the heat. John Walker's going to get the reward. It's going to be the most unfair thing possible. And I cannot wait to see them beat the fuck out of this guy. No, that's a lie. I can't wait to watch Sam beat the fuck out of this guy. Again, I'm a Bucky. I'm a Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, exactly.
I love Bucky. I'm more invested in that redemption story than Sam's, even though Sam's is incredible. I cannot wait to watch Falcon fuck up fake Captain America in like a fair stand-up fight.
Yeah. He's going to feel it. And he's super soldier as well now. It's going to be the fall is going to be even greater.
It's going to be so perfect. I can't wait.
All right, guys. We are going to kick it over to our Discord server now, where some of you guys have written in to tell us your thoughts on this episode, just like you guys can by clicking the link in the description.
Right.
Head over to our Discord server. It's an awesome place to hang out.
Like the video.
Yes, we should have told you that at the beginning.
Christ,
subscribe to the channel as well.
this.
It's great. It helps us out. Please, we'll tell you again. Hopefully in the next episode at the end. We unfortunately can't read all of the comments here. There's quite a few of them, and there's a lot of like fairly lengthy ones. Not that the lengthy ones are too bad, but there's a lot of them, so we can't get through all of them.
Yeah.
We're gonna pick and choose which ones we like right here. I've got one to read out here, and then you can read the next one if you like. This one is from ______. It's actually Guacamole right here. And he writes in and he says, "Hello, gamers. I've noticed something very interesting about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I've just rewatched the first Avengers and the scene where the Red Skull criticizes Cap for wearing a flag on his chest, saying, 'I have seen the future, Captain, and there are no flags.' While an average, simple-minded viewer of the MCU might dismiss this as a coincidence...
There's no fucking coincidence.
I've seen enough streamcasts to know that this confirms that the Flag Smashers from the Falcon and Winter Soldier are actually Hydra.
Thank you. Been calling it since WandaVision.
This was not only evident. This was not the only evidence either. The leader of the Flag Smashers has red hair. Hair is on someone's head. Inside everyone's head is a skull. Red Skull.
Oh god.
Thank you,
Guacamole.
Thank you.
He's onto something
He's
here.
a freaking genius.
Again, the simple-minded fools like Tyler, who make up the
nothing
vast...
less from conversations, people.
Hey, oh way.
Fapping up, I don't think that's a real word. I hope it's
I don't
not,
think it is.
because of the way it's said.
Again, the simple-minded fools who make up the vast majority of the MCU fans will call this a stretch, quote unquote.
Right.
But Streamcast fans like myself see it differently. Finally, in the recent episode of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we see the leader of the Flag Smashers kill someone. This event draws a very clear cinematic parallel to the Red Skull, who also kills people. Oh my god, I didn't notice that parallel.
Wow.
Oh my god, that's such a cool connection you made there.
It's brilliant.
Great.
It's genius.
All of these things make it abundantly clear that Hydra is heavily involved in the events of this show, and Sheps has been right ever since the first episode of WandaVision. That's just unbelievable there that you did it again.
Confirmed. Like
you did
I
it
said,
again.
I'm brilliant.
Thank you, Guacamole, for that.
I'm gonna
That
read.
got me.
I'm gonna read the first sentence from Diogo because
Okay.
it triggered me.
All right.
He finally snapped. He did what?
Finally
Have some
snapped.
respect for half the universe when you use these words.
Exactly.
Trigger warnings.
That's a
please.
trigger warning right there. God damn it. Snap. Think about it.
Shall I read Diogo's? Nah, frick that guy. Because he's doing the stupid underscore hangman thing. Frick it. I'll
Yeah.
do it.
You want
Fine.
to read someone
I'll-
else instead?
I'll read him and Matt's.
Go on.
That guy Matt said, I feel like the show is trying to use Zemo as comic relief, which isn't exactly a great idea because he's an extremist. Overall, thought the episode was decent. Definitely better than the late WandaVision episodes. I don't agree at all.
Really?
I don't think they're using Zemo as comic relief.
Yeah. I mean, there's little fun bits,
No,
but I don't think it's comic relief.
I don't think they're using
Yeah.
his comic relief. I think he's
Yeah.
very. I think he has his moments that he,
Yeah.
but I think it's more personality shining through.
I agree, and I also think the comic relief is coming from Sam in relation to Zemo, not from
There was no
Zemo.
comic relief. I feel like in this episode though.
Other than the head tilt thing. Where he just
Well, that's
calls
very
stupid.
subtle as well. That's
It
very
is
subtle.
very subtle, and it's not so much comic relief as it is like relieving tension by in this moment everybody realizing that in different aspects they rock paper scissors cancel each other out and are as important and powerful depending on the situation as needs be.
And also, shield on Earth, shield. The only thing you're running in here is your mouth. That was a good one.
That was so
Yeah,
good.
great line.
So good. Oh my days. I will read
Yeah,
Joe's
go on.
thing. He says, I love the juxtaposition between Cap sparing Tony's life in Civil War and Walker just murdering this fool. Zemo was great. I really loved the scenes between Sam and Carly, but you can really see why he should be the next Cap. I feel like the show can either go either way with Sam becoming Cap and taking the serum. He's definitely not taking the serum.
I don't think he is. I don't think he is.
No, this show would be a failure if he takes a serum.
I
At the end.
totally
Very much
agree.
so, very
I totally
much so.
agree. It would just totally dishonor Falcon's character in my.
There should be super soldiers should not be allowed to exist. I'm with Zemo on that one. Other than Bucky, that's the only one.
Yeah. I totally agree. He provided plenty.
They
of
should
reasons.
all literally. I think every super soldier in this show will die, other than Bucky.
Well, and Isaac.
Isaiah.
He was awesome.
Isaiah. Oh
Okay,
yeah,
let's kill Bucky and Isaiah as well.
He's out of play. He's out of play.
play.
though.
I really liked. I want to see that fight with
He
him
seems
in
cool. Seems like a
wherever
cool
the frick
character.
it was. So what I mean is that Sam will definitely carry Steve's legacy with the shield. Maybe not necessarily by carrying the mantle of Cap due to how stained it has become. I just hope they keep Walker alive for a Thunderbolts / Dark Avengers thing, because I really want to see recurring villains, antagonists, but I can't wait for everyone to just beat the living shit out of him. I totally agree.
Yeah.
And I do think in this next episode that, like Tyler said, John Walker's going to get rewarded and they're going to have to go underground, which is where we see the scene of them like at some farm or something, where that all the bromance.
Oh yeah.
That's obviously coming, and I think it's next episode because they've had to like go underground. They go back to the farmhouse, probably.
Was that the scene where he has the shield though?
Yeah.
Oh shit! It might be.
Yeah, because he's so they
They're
must
gonna steal the shield.
they're gonna have the shield.
Like
yeah.
it's just goes to me. I'm like, you can't surely I've been thinking like that scene we've seen in trailers for months
Yeah.
where Sam has the shield. I'm like, that can't be like the end of the show that we've been seeing.
No.
We seem
I
like
feel
we're
like
so
it's got to
far
be this
away
next
from
episode.
It.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's the end of episode 5, and then episode 6 is going to be stuff we've not seen
Unless-
anything from.
Unless
surely.
they just fucking jump his ass right, like we cut back and it's just Bucky and Sam
First
going
thing.
ham.
Going ham on him right there. They just knock him
Yeah.
out, take the shield. Okay, this is mine. Also, there is one thing. We was like, oh yeah, if he takes the shield and he becomes Falcon, he becomes the next Captain America. That's
Yeah.
really cool. How do you guys feel about Captain America now, Falcon having the shield now, the world has seen what that shield has done to somebody and how bloody and stained it is and how the legacy's been stained. It almost seems like it's not the right move to become Captain America now. What do you guys think about that?
It's just doing it in a different way. He can't just be Captain America. He's got to be his own representation of
I hope he can be enough of whatever he's going to be, because I'm sure when the public just see that shield, they're just going to think the bloody murder weapon.
Yeah.
Oh, you just cleaned it off. Oh, it's fine. Oh, don't worry. Bit of bleach, sort it out.
No, but I think what he's going to show in the end is the world somehow in this last episode is going to see who Sam is.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it's more about
he's
Sam
also a known Avenger.
Yeah.
He literally fought Thanos.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good question, and I'm probably going to rub a lot of people the wrong way, but I hate the idea of Sam having the shield. Let me rephrase that. Falcon using the shield is ridiculous because he has to fly with wings, and those wings are attached to his arms.
Yeah.
So the shield can't work, and unless he's not flying.
Well, it can. Like Falcon in the comics, when he's Captain America, still flies.
I'm sure Red Wing can take over. Oh wait, he's dead. Oh, isn't that right? There you go, right there. We actually haven't seen Red Wing since then.
The idea of Falcon flying with the shield on his arm just rubs me the wrong way. That isn't how he would do it, but it's just like, so he would have to fly and then get the shield off. It bugs me like visually. Yeah. But I mean, Sam is Captain America. Like, he hasn't got the title or the shield, but he's Captain America. We know that, right? There is no one else to take up the legacy that Steve left.
Yeah.
It is Sam.
Yeah.
It's Sam.
Yeah.
And it has been since Steve tried to give him the shield.
It's going to be interesting, and I'm interested to see how they're gonna do that, because in my mind, if I was a person in America and I'd seen that, I'd be like, okay, this shield is you have to put it away. You can't use that now.
Right.
In my mind, but I'd love to see how it would happen.
I'd love to see a shot in the next episode of like a change.org petition to have it put back in the museum.
Put it back in the museum. Right. Oh god, with the blood stain still on it. Okay, guys. What it used to be and what it is now. Cryptic writes into the Discord server, and he says, "Hey gamers, this was a great episode. It gives so much development to John Walker, showing him as this guy who is struggling with his image. He is a soldier at heart who adores his country and will do anything he is ordered to do, I should say. After being given his title, he has to live up to what he believes America wants him to be, but also what Captain America is, giving the character this brilliant inner conflict. This show to me is so metaphorical, showing what America truly is, a country that interferes with everything and is quite selfish, but also what America thinks of themselves, a great country who only improves the world. Exactly. That's pretty much what America is right there.
I've been seeing the memes of like it's Steve Rogers, how America tells its history, and then John Walker, how America actually is. Stuff
right
like
there.
They're very funny.
Yeah. And in the end, with John killing the guy is so brutal and so important, and shows all the emotions of the character, and them really just all exploding, and he couldn't cope with the inner conflict. The introduction to the Dora Milaje in the show was fantastic. They could have used them better, and the fight scene with them was peak MCU. Couldn't have used them better. Sorry, I said could right there. Couldn't have used them better, and this was peak MCU. Yeah. Zemo is an amazing character who will only get better in the next 2 episodes, and they have really shown how the character is in the comics, in this show, and I don't think they could have done him any better. Honestly, I don't think I don't have a concrete idea of what they could do next. I think it's obvious that they will end with Sam will take the serum. Oh, I don't know about that.
God, I hope not.
Or will eventually, he says, and will take the shield and I think him doing it in that way, he'll be looked down upon by the US government and being somewhat of a vigilante. I don't know. Okay, let me finish the comment first of all. A vigilante, and it will be great. And I think that would be a real shock if John Walker doesn't remain in the MCU in some shape or form, even if he's being left like Agatha Harkness to be used in a future, maybe in the Thunderbolts type thing. This is definitely the best episode yet, and I can only see the show getting better. Anyways, love your content, guys. Sorry for the lengthy review thing, and I hope it's easy enough to read, and I hope it wasn't a mess. Great, have a great day, bro. Your writing was actually fantastic. I stumbled a bit on there because of my own shit, but you did great. Thank you for the comment right there. It was great. I don't agree with the serum thing, like we've said before.
Yeah, I think we're all on it. Sam shouldn't get the serum, even though he's the only person I would pick to have it, other than Bucky. But it would cheapen him and Falcon.
It's like if you were to like at the beginning with Falcon, the Captain America, the first Avenger, whereas like who would you give the super soldier serum to? Well, what does the super soldier serum do? It amplifies what's already inside someone.
Right.
You're like, Sam is a fantastic human. He's a hero already. It would make him even better. But now that we know everything about him, how he operates and who he is and how great he is anyway, it would cheapen him a little bit more.
Agree.
So that's something.
Superdan has a comment here which I want to cover.
Go on.
He said, obviously it's the best episode so far. I love the John Walker versus Dora Milaje fight.
Yeah.
I think it's the top 5. It's in the top 5 fights in the MCU.
Ooh.
So this is interesting because
There's a lot of
I
good
said
fights.
already in the show, I think we have contenders for, let's say, at least top 10 in my opinion. I thought Sharon's fight with the like mercenaries at the shipping container was one of the best fights we've actually seen in the MCU. Full stop. It's one of the best. I loved how brutal it was. I loved how she took damage over the course of it. I loved that it made sense. Like, this wasn't Black Widow. This is one of my big beefs with Endgame. It wasn't Black Widow taking out somebody that literally soloed, went toe to toe with Vision, and Black Widow like fights her with jiu-jitsu. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, she's fighting normal human beings. At the one time she's outnumbered, she takes like an iron pipe to the back of their heads because she's come up behind them. Like, I really like that fight. But this fight is way more significant because it's finally John Walker's breaking point. They're the Dora Milaje. They're awesome. The significance of Bucky losing the arm, realizing that Wakanda kept something from him in case they ever need to use it against him.
Yeah.
There's been some great freaking fights. The choreography is so good in the show.
It's been fantastic, hasn't it?
So good.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think that's all we've got time for to read for our comments right here. Thank you, everybody who wrote in. Everyone as well who didn't get read out. Don't feel bad. It was really, I read through them as well. They are very, very cool.
They're great comments. We have a serious time crunch.
Yeah, we do this quite late, so we need to get moving. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this episode of the Falcon and Winter Soldier review of by Streamcast, I should say. Thank you, Tyler, for joining us for another episode here. It's been great to finally have you back.
Yeah. He's freaking...
Yeah, thank you so much.
He's dead.
Thanks so much. Sorry, I was like fucking reading something. That was sort of... So I was like, oh, you're fucking reading a fucking conversation shit. I don't know.
Just joined the
thank you
Discord.
for having me on, boys. Great time. I'm glad I've made it back. I've really missed doing this show and talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier, so I'm stoked to be here, and I look forward to being here again for the finale.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Thank you, bro, as well for being here, Sheps. It's always great to talk to you.
I'm fucking knackered. My eyes are shutting, and I loved everything about this episode.
It was great. It really spurred you on.
My big problem, I'll actually say this to end the episode. My big beef with the episode is that Bucky's scene at the beginning is so far away from all the other really important stuff that you kind of forget about it.
Yeah, it happens immediately, gets you hooked, and then everything else happens, and it just like it's so far away you forget about it.
It's so good, but it just only keeps getting better that you just kind of forget about it. But it was so freaking great. Sebastian Stan, my God, what?
Can't wait for the last 2 episodes. It's going to be mad.
Yeah,
it's going to be mad.
It's going to be good.
All right, guys. Join us again next week, Tuesday, for episode 5. Episode 5 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We can count.
I won't be here, so you don't need to watch this show.
Oh, wow. It just drops us in right there. You know what?
Yeah.
Let's get some hashtag fuck Tylers in the chat right there. Yeah, but then Tyler will be back for the finale. Okay, guys? All right. We'll catch you all in the next one. Thanks for the support, guys. See ya.